Tell us again, what happened at Permane Brothers?
They kicked us out of Permane Brothers so that they could get the paid actors inside.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
There's nobody in the parking lot. They kicked everybody out of the restaurant. I was like, well, who's going to be there? They literally bust them in vans. So Kamala Harris is on this bus tour. She's on her way to Chicago for the convention that starts today. But in the meantime, she's doing this bus tour through these states that she has to win. She has to convince the voters in those states that she's likable. So in Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh, they stopped at a sandwich shop, a local chain there in the Pittsburgh area. It's called Primanti's. And they had this big photo op. And we're going to show you the photo op that happened inside the restaurant in just a minute. But what's more interesting is what happened outside the restaurant, because there were a bunch of people there who got kicked out of Primanti's to make way for Kamala Harris and her little event. They got kicked out. They were there. They were eating sandwiches. They were enjoying their day, but they got kicked out. Not for security reasons, not for Secret Service or anything like that. No, they got kicked out because Kamala wanted to bring her own vetted ringers in there for her photo op. She wanted to make sure that when she went and acted like a real person and was super likable in a sandwich shop, that everybody in the sandwich shop was already her friend and supported her. The last thing they wanted is for someone in that sandwich shop to say, yeah, no, I'm not down with the Kamalanism. I'm going to stick with Trump. So all of these people got kicked out. Look.
They kicked us out of Permane Brothers. They said it's a problem. You are terrible people.
Tell us again, what happened at Permane Brothers?
They kicked us out of Permane Brothers so that they could get the paid actors inside.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
So there's all the paid actors.
Look at all these people. My God.
Holy hell. All these actors in these vans. I know. They can't even afford.
Now, I don't know if they're really actors, okay, like they're union card member actors that, you know, appear in the national tour of Les Miserables when they're not at a sandwich shop. But they might as well be actors. Look at van after van after van full of real ordinary people that are there to act like they like Kamala Harris. Here's another angle of it. And that group, by the way, I love the fact that some smart person decided to hand out Trump shirts and signs and turn it into a counter rally. So take a look. Here's another angle of the same restaurant.
Not one car.
Yeah.
Where are all the Kamala supporters? She's going to be eating a sandwich by herself. There's no one here. I don't see one Kamala sign.
See, there's nobody in the parking lot. They kicked everybody out of the restaurant. I was like, well, who's going to be there? They literally bust them in vans. And then they filled the restaurant with their ringers. Now, here's what it looked like. I'm not even going to turn the volume up because it doesn't matter. I'll let it play while we talk here. But you can see how orchestrated it is. After they let everybody in so they could all sit at the table and get their sandwiches. Now, here's the media person, and they're all directing where the cameras can go so they can get their shots for the evening news. You can line up over here, bring your cameras over there, and look, the place is full. It's hopping. The economy's great. And look at they're all white, too. Have you noticed that? Here's Doug Emhoff just moving around. Oh, there's one black dude. All right, that's cool. And they're shaking hands, and they're just meeting people who happen to be at the restaurant that day having sandwiches. It's so natural. They're so likable. And they literally bust them in those white vans. I love how this cameraman is zooming in on the two people of color there, too. This is ABC News's coverage. And of course, they're not going to report that they forcibly removed anybody from the restaurant who supported Donald Trump. It's like Kamala Harris stopped at this restaurant, a family-owned chain in the Pittsburgh area, and was met with hordes of her fans and supporters. Like, these people could work for the campaign for all we know. Look how likable and natural she is. You know, it's really easy to be likable and natural when you know everybody's going to agree with you. This entire thing is fraudulent. Let's see if we can hear her. We're really just fortunate to have her. She's so likable. She's so genuine. She's so down to earth. She's America's Mamala, is what she is. So they kick everybody out of that restaurant, and then they fill it with their own paid patrons, or at least their favored patrons. I don't know if actual money was transacted, although I'm pretty sure they got free lunches out of it. And then they get their photo op, right? And meanwhile, the people who had been eating there are pushed across the street, and they have a little counter rally with the Trump signs. That's great. But it's not even the most cringy, awkward event that happened in Pennsylvania over the weekend with the Kamala campaign. Take a look at this one. You know, you're in Pennsylvania, you got to stop at a Sheetz, right? So here's how CNN reported on this breaking news. Kamala Harris is at a Sheetz.
Outside the margin of error. CNN's Jeff Zeleny is joining us now. And Jeff, we're looking at live pictures of the vice president with her husband, Tim Walz, and his wife. They are in Pennsylvania on this bus tour as they go through that critical battleground state just outside of Pittsburgh. Again, Jeff Zeleny joining us now. And Jeff, they're on the bus tour looking to Thursday, of course, when she's going to accept this nomination. And they've got some momentum that we're seeing bear out in new polling.
They certainly do. And it looks like the vice president is getting a bag of Doritos.
I think it's
like a
Sheetz.
Wawa.
Yes,
Sheetz,
I think
perhaps.
it's Sheetz because they're in
Sheetz.
Pittsburgh or
Okay,
outside of Pittsburgh.
So you would know, you obviously are a veteran of Pennsylvania reporting. And my guess is if she did a Sheetz, she will go to a Wawa later.
She must.
That's true. If you're in Pennsylvania, you're a Sheetz person or you're a Wawa person, and there is no marrying the two. It's like Michigan, Ohio State, man. It's just not going to happen. Now, you can say, oh, she got a Dorito. Breaking news. Breaking. We've got a red siren here breaking on CNN. Kamala Harris getting Doritos at a Sheetz. Now, you saw how awkward it was for her to walk through the restaurant. Did you see the moment when her husband, Doug Emhoff, found her the bag of Doritos, right? Did you see that moment? This is critically important because, well, I hate to tell you this, but there's already a scandal surrounding the Kamala Harris campaign. We're calling it Dorito Gate. Let me just show you that moment again where Doug Emhoff hands her the Doritos. Here, it's very important that I show you this. What?
Just outside of
All right, see where he hands her the Doritos, and do you see who this is right between the two of them? That's Tim Walz, right? That is Tim Walz, the running mate. And watch. Up. Did you see how he saw him hand her the Doritos? Tim Walz, at this moment, at 6:01 p.m. in Coraopolis, Pennsylvania, on the Harris bus tour, knows for certain that Kamala Harris has Doritos because Doug Emhoff just handed her Doritos. Tim Walz saw the handoff, right? Are you with me? Are you tracking this? All right, this is Dorito Gate. You want Dorito. You just said you want Dorito. We're catching all of this on camera so that can be part of some sort of like up, and there it is again. And watch Doug, or watch Tim Walz. Up, Tim Walz saw it, right? She got her Doritos. She came in, she said she wanted Doritos. Now, a little later, in the same visit, after she already got her Doritos from her husband, here's Tim Walz. You see what he's got in his hand? He's got a bag of Doritos. Watch what Kamala does. See this? Hey, Kamala, here's your Doritos. Now, look, Doug's already got the Doritos that he got for her. And Tim Walz saw that Doug got the Doritos for her, but now he's getting her the Doritos, and he hands her the Doritos. It's Doritos Gate. Now, why would they do that? Why would they repeat this meaningless gesture of first her husband giving her Doritos and then Tim Walz acting like she didn't have Doritos and still needed Doritos, and he got her Doritos? Are you tracking? Why did they do that? Because if you go to Tim Walz's social media platform, if you go to X, he posted this video.
Corn nuts over there, isn't this it? Oh, yeah, that's there you go.
Now he's acting like he found Doritos for her, but we just saw him Doug get him Doritos, and this is what he put: every road trip needs a snack break. Doritos acquired. I got you, Kamala Harris. See, for his social media platform, he needed his own video of him giving giving Kamala the Doritos. But over on Kamala's social media account, they had the video of Doug, her very loving husband, who never cheated on his first wife with a babysitter and got her pregnant, got her the Doritos. In other words, all of it is fake. It's all manufactured. It's all scripted, down to the camera angle. It's an embarrassment. It's awful. This is how they are. By the way, one other beautiful thing about this whole visit to Sheetz, so we can be there with Pennsylvanians, because Pennsylvanians love Sheetz. Kamala obviously loves her Doritos, and she loves Sheetz because she's one of us. She loves Sheetz, except for the fact that the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration is suing Sheetz right now. Yeah. The Justice Department has actually brought a civil case against the ownership of Sheetz. Do you know why? Because when Sheetz hires people, they do criminal background checks on them to make sure they're not convicted felons. And the Justice Department says that's a civil rights violation. So Kamala Harris loves Sheetz. She would just prefer Sheetz hire more convicts, like Hunter Biden.